Hey guys, how are we doing? Welcome to the weekly roundup. It is Friday, August 30th, 2024, and what an eventful week it has been in boxing, especially Australian boxing. Lots of drama, lots of action. On Wednesday night in Sydney at the ICC Theatre, Nikita Tszyu won the IBF Australasian and WBC Intercontinental 154-pound titles. Try saying that three times fast, with a ninth round stoppage of Cole Mazzutia in an absolute war. Nikita Tszyu improved his record to 10-0. Cole Mazzutia dropped to 12, 4-1. But what a fight it was! It wasn't full of controversy. I'll leave that one to the fight before that one. But this was full of action. For the first 5 rounds, Nikita Tszyu dominated the fight. Looked sensational with his pinpoint punching. But Cole Mazzutia, an absolute warrior, hung in there. And in the 6th, 7th round, started to land his shots on Nikita. And by the 8th round and 9th round, it was just all-out war, back and forth. Lots of big bombs being thrown by both guys. But in the 9th round, Nikita Tszyu put the foot down, and the referee had no choice but to stop the fight, with Mazzutia taking heavy punishment and not fighting back. Initially, I thought it might have been a little premature, but having looked at the replay, I think the referee did a great job in stopping the fight that he did. Or when he did. But as I said, a massive crowd, great performance from both guys, and a full credit to both fighters for the action they put on the undercard. Well, this is where the controversy comes in, because Michael Zerafa improved to 32-5 with a first round retirement victory over veteran Tommy Brown, who dropped to 45-9-2. During the first round, which was semi-competitive, a lot of semi-action, I suppose, in there. At the end of the round, Tommy Brown revealed to his trainer that he'd suffered a torn bicep, and the corner stopped the fight straight away. But that's where the fun started, because Michael Zerafa went to the corner of Tommy Brown. There had been a lot of fireworks in the lead up to this, by the way, and let Tommy Brown have it verbally. And his trainer, Tommy McCurry, responded to Michael Zerafa. They ended up in Michael Zerafa's corner, and Michael Zerafa's little brother Jason entered the ring and punched Tommy McCurry in the face as security and promoter Matt Rose were trying to separate the guys, or the fighters, teams, everyone involved. And as a result, Jason Zerafa was thrown out of the building. He's since been barred for life by No Limit, and pending inquiries from the police and also the New South Wales Combat Board. We'll see what happens to him in the aftermath of this fight. Michael Zerafa, he was supposed to sit ringside during Nikita Tszyu's fight, and I'm assuming get into the ring and lay down the challenge to Nikita. That wasn't the case. He was ushered out of the stadium at very, very quick smart, put into a taxi and taken to a hotel, a different hotel than what he was originally staying at with the rest of the fighters. They were a little bit concerned about his welfare, so he was off to another hotel, and the rest of the card, or the main event, got on as scheduled, and we'll see what plays out after that. The other main undercard fight on that event, in a great fight as well, Connor Wallace improved to 14-1 with a 12-round decision over Jerome Pamplona. It was a split decision. He dropped to 18-2. The scores, 116-112 times 2 for Connor Wallace, and 115-113 for Jerome Pamplona. That was for the WBO Intercontinental 175-pound title, and it was also a IBF eliminator. So Connor Wallace in line for a shot at the 175-pound title, I would say, within the next 12 to 18 months. The other fights on that card, Darren Truella improved to 4-0 with a 4-round decision over Calvin Jensen, who dropped to 3-1. Scores were 58-56 times 3. Billy Polkinghorne improved to 3-0 with a 5-round decision over Michael Reynolds, who dropped to 1-1. Scores 50-45 times 2 and 49-46. Jasmine Parr improved to 6-0 with a 6-round decision over Panaporn Kalpalwong. I hope I got that right. She drops to 4-3. All scores 60-54 times 3. A very controversial fight. The next one, Sunny Knight improved to 3-0 with a 4-round decision over Laban Stringer, who dropped to 1-3. It was a very, very touch and go fight. The crowd not happy. Stringer himself not happy at all. And a lot of people online not happy either, with Sunday night getting the decision 49-46, I think it was. Sorry, it was a 4-rounder. I think it was 39-37, I think, were the scorecards from memory. I'm sorry, I didn't write that one down. The other 3 fights on the card, Monir Fathi had a second round stoppage over Sutama Manuel. He improved to 8-1. Manuel dropped to 2-6. Max McIntyre improved to 5-0 with a third round stoppage of LB Matthew. He dropped to 2-1. And Maya Solomon, who looks the goods in the female division, she improved to 6-1 with a 6th-round decision over Connie Brown, who dropped to 2-1. But all in all, a great event on the No Limit pay-per-view, doing great things. And let's see when we get maybe possibly that Nikita Tszyu Michael Zerafa fighter has had some doubt thrown onto it for the short term, because Nikita Tszyu has sustained a hand injury, the same injury that he sustained in his last fight, and it looks like he might be out for a number of months. So that fight looks like it will happen in the first half of 2025, if in fact it does happen at all. Still on the Aussie scene, has been rumblings that Liam Paro may lock horns with Devin Haney in far north Queensland on December 7. Looks like it might be in Townsville. Paro 25-0 is the current IBF 140-pound titleist. Devin Haney's 31-0, the current WBC champion in recess. Albert Puello is the full champion at the moment. Now, Paro's coming off a 12-round decision to win that title over Subriel Matias back in June. Haney had that 12-round, well, he sort of had a 12-round loss against Ryan Garcia back in April of this year. That fight has been overturned, so it was a no contest. So still technically undefeated. So Eddie Hearn has spilled the beans that he'd like to make that fight. Still a lot of water to go under the bridge. The main concern or talking point or sticking point might be the IBF rehydration clause. Now, if you don't know, the IBF have a rehydration clause of 10 pounds. This is after the weigh-in to the fight. Now, there's no way that's going to work for Devin Haney, who does put up to 25 pounds on in between the weigh-in and the fight. There has been maybe a little loophole that he might be able to get through, though, in that if he is the WBC champion in recess, it would technically be a unification fight. Gets a little bit murky because it's not really for the belt. It's because Albert Puello has that full belt, but that might be the loophole they might try and push, is that Haney is in fact still sort of the WBC champion, so it still sort of is a unification fight, which then would negate that rehydration clause. But if it does happen, it should be a great fight for not just Aussie boxing, but world boxing in general. I think it's a really good fight, and it's a fight that I think Liam Paro has a great chance of winning. So keep an eye out for that one. Townsville in December, possibly on the 7th. Still on possible fights, George Kambosos Jr., a little bit going on with him at the moment. There is apparently a big fight announcement pending, according to different sites here in Australia. But the twist in it is he will be coming back as a 140-pound fighter. Has been rumours it could be Teofimo Lopez #2, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But the rumours going around before this announcement comes out is that it could have been William Zepeda November 16 in Saudi Arabia. Now, the only problem with that, of course, is that William Zepeda is a world-ranked lightweight. So that probably puts an end to that one, but you never know. So George Kambosos, 21-3, coming off 11th round stoppage loss to Vasily Lomachenko back in May of this year. William Zepeda coming off a 3rd round knockout of Giovanni Cabrera back in July. So the other thing to consider with that one is, even though George Kambosos was thrown up as a possible opponent for William Zepeda, the other one in conversations was Tevin Farmer, by the sounds of things as well. So you would think that if George Kambosos goes to 140, it will be Zepeda and Tevin Farmer in Saudi Arabia in November. So plenty to look forward to there for Aussie boxing over the next few months. Let's get on to the world scene. And surprise, surprise, Canelo Alvarez has remained open to a fight with Terence Crawford in May next year. Now, in the past, he has put the kibosh on a potential fight, but again, money talks, and has just put it out there that he is maybe willing to reconsider and fight Terence Crawford in May. And again, money talks with the Turki Al Sheikh behind it. Who knows what might happen next year. So Canelo 61-2-2, Crawford 41-0. So what a fight that would be, even at 168. Speaking of Terence Crawford, he has been mandated to fight Sebastian Fundora for the WBO 154-pound title. I think, though, Fundora's team are waiting to see what Canelo does after his fight with Berlanga in a couple of weeks' time, and that's when I think Canelo will make up his mind whether it's going to be Crawford or someone else. Again, plenty of water to go on the bridge, but interesting times of what Canelo Alvarez is going to do in regards to Terence Crawford. And look, Terence Crawford has got a lot of options if the Canelo fight doesn't happen, but he has made it known that it's Crawford or bust. Canelo or bust. So a few interesting months coming up. Now, speaking of Canelo as well, if he doesn't take the Crawford fight, there is word that he might go way up to 175 for, I think, a third time and fight for the light heavyweight championship, probably the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol, of course, which would not make David Benavidez very happy because he's just gone from 168 up to 175 because Canelo Alvarez up to this point has refused to fight him, and he has gone to 175 for a shot at Beterbiev and Bivol. So again, it would not go down too well if Canelo decides to go for the winner of that fight. I doubt he does, in my own opinion. I don't think Canelo wants a piece of either Bivol or Beterbiev, especially at 175. So I've got a feeling he'll fight Crawford in May. Just call it a gut feeling. Another big fight coming up, Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. Now, it's been announced that the show is a sellout. Now, it looks like it's going to be the biggest ever crowd for boxing at Wembley Stadium. 96,000 people expected to attend that fight on September 21st. So Joshua 28-3, Dubois 21-2. Joshua coming off that second round knockout of Francis Ngannou. Dubois coming off that win over Filip Hrgović. So that should be a massive event on September 21st in England. Can't wait for that one. And an interesting one, just talking about the Bivol and Beterbiev fight. Now, it's going to be a split broadcast. Now, this is probably the first time this has ever happened. So just bear with me here as I try and explain it. The main event, so Bivol and Beterbiev, will be on ESPN Plus in the States. But the rest of the undercard will be shown on DAZN pay-per-view. Now, the ESPN one will be free for subscribers. That's a Bivol and Beterbiev fight. But the DAZN card, headlined by Shakur Stevenson and Joe Cordina, will be pay-per-view. So to break it down, the undercard is technically the pay-per-view portion of it, so you'll be expected to pay for that one with Shakur Stevenson headlining. The free fight will be, strangely enough, the main event, which is Bivol and Beterbiev. So if you're a subscriber in the US to ESPN Plus, you'll get that fight free of charge. I've got a feeling the rest of us all over the world will pay a pay-per-view amount that will get us both the main event and the undercard, but it is a strange one, and again, I haven't seen it before. I'm sure it might be just a sign of the times going forward where promoters are pretty much selling off portions of the card, which is really hard to get your head around, but it seems to be the way of the future. The last thing, guys, is this Tuesday coming, September 3rd, at the Ariake Arena in Tokyo. Naoya Inoue, the undisputed 122-pound champion, 27-0, will defend those belts against TJ Doheny. He's 26-4. Now, it's an interesting one here because it's listed as a WBA belt not being on the line. Now, I'm not quite sure what has happened here. I might have to look a little bit further into it, but it's only the WBC, WBO, and IBF 122-pound titles on the line. So, look, you would expect that Naoya Inoue wins that fight comfortably and sets up a December fight with Sam Goodman. But it's good to see that he's keeping busy and giving all challengers a crack at his belt. On the undercard of that event, Yoshiki Takai, 9-0, will defend the WBO 118-pound title, the same belt he took from Australia's Jason Maloney, against Daigo Higa, who's 21-2-1. And also on that card, Aussie Camille Bella, 15-1-1, will fight Jin Sasaki, 17-1-1. Over, I think it's 10 rounds for the WBO Asia Pacific 147-pound title. So Plenty going on over the next few days, and then, of course, over the next few weeks and months. Now, just a quick one, heading off to the States on Tuesday for the Canelo Berlanga fight and a few other bits and pieces in the States. So I won't be on here for probably 2 to 3 weeks. But I look forward to talking to you all when I get back. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and everything else as I document my journey over in the States, especially for the Canelo and Berlanga event in Vegas. And look forward to speaking to you all in a couple of weeks. Have a great weekend.